get marks, get sets, and okay, we're going. Hey folks, tonight on the Jeff and Dan Show, we're going to talk about credit and how credit works exactly.
And we're going to do the top 10 most important things in life.
How does one get credit exactly?
Where does credit exist and why?
The credit game exactly. Try to guess the right answers to get it.
And name that money tune.
All tonight on the Jeff and Dan Show.
Who the greatest guys you met? Jeff and Dan, Jeff and Dan. Who's gonna be hard to forget? Jeff and Dan, Jeff and Dan. Tune in your bad mood. Jeff and Dan, Jeff and Dan. Get you laughing crazy. Jeff and Dan, Jeff and Dan. Pull up a blunt and sit right down because it's time for the Jeff and Dan Show. Woo-hoo.
It's Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for the Jeff and Dan Show. Tonight on the Jeff and Dan Show... Tonight on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about credit, and we are going to show you the easiest way to make a small fortune by simply starting off with a much larger one. And we will show you payment at the register tips like when your cashier says strip down and facing me, well, that refers to the credit card and not your clothing.
Okay.
And we are also going to show you why being a day trader is worse than a divorce.
Ooh.
We can show you how you will lose most of your estate, but still keep your wife.
Nice.
And now here's someone whose wife's pocketbook was stolen with all her credit cards. He was going to report it, but the thief was actually spending less than she was. Ladies and gentlemen, and guests of all ages, please give a warm, credit-worthy welcome to the co-host of this show. It's Jeff. Good evening, Jeff. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, sir. How are you?
Breathless.
I know, right? I'm struggling over here to get a breath. I can't get a breath. It's all the credit stuff we're going to talk about tonight.
That's my gas kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're going to talk about credit, man. I know you've had some fun times with credit.
Oh, I enjoy credit.
I know. I just want to fucking kill it. I mean, enjoy it. I know. I at one point in time had a really shitty time with credit, and I'm still having a shitty time with credit. You know, it's no difference. That's like saying, "Hey, man, I used to do drugs." No, I still do drugs, but I used to do them too.
It's kind of like going through that thing of, okay, you admitted you're addicted, and you have to go through the rest of your life admitting you're addicted, that you have problems, and you can't even touch one little drop of marijuana.
I think he's smoking a marijuana cigarette. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's part of it.
Anyways, how does credit work exactly?
How does credit work exactly? Well, I tell you what. I'm going to play you a little clip.
Okay.
It's a 3-minute clip.
Okay.
Basically, it comes from one of the shittiest fucking banks on the planet, the Bank of America. And they're going to explain how to build your credit from scratch. So basically, it's going to start the process of how you do it from scratch. And this will help you and hopefully help some other folks too. But at the same time, after that, or not the same time, but after that, I will go into the process of explaining how credit got started and where we're at from there. Okay, here we go. Clip.
How do I build credit from scratch? Building your credit for the first time can feel a little like the chicken and the egg.
Mm-hmm.
To build a good credit score, you're going to need to take out a loan or get a credit card.
Catch-22.
But you can't qualify for a loan or get a credit card without some credit history, right? So what do? Let's start with a bank account. You don't really need a long credit history to open a checking account at your local bank. In fact, you may have one already. Even though a checking account won't necessarily help you build credit history with the bureaus, that account may help you get your first credit card or loan from the same provider. You see, if you already have a history of doing good business with the bank, they know you and value that business. That existing relationship can carry some weight when it comes time to get your first line of credit. That is a good first step. But if that's still not enough, here are a few other things to consider. Some banks offer credit cards for folks who want to establish, strengthen, or even rebuild their credit. It's called a secured credit card.
Yes.
Because you secure the amount you borrow with a security deposit. In other words, you provide collateral by depositing money in an account with the bank, something the lender gets to apply a portion of, or all, should you default on the loan.
Yes.
Your credit line is equal to the amount you deposit. You won't be able to touch that money or use it to pay off your balance, and you'll still have to prove to the bank that you have sufficient income to pay the credit card. The good news is that the bank will be more confident that you'll pay them back, even without great credit, allowing you to build or rebuild your credit. Since you'll be using your first card to build your credit, you want to make sure that, once active, your lender will report all those on-time payments to the bureaus before you apply.
That's the important
Most
part.
banks and credit unions do this, but some retail store cards, for example, don't. So make sure to check ahead of time, and if your payment history won't be reported by the card issuer, you may want to keep shopping for a card. Also, don't apply for a bunch of different cards if you keep striking out. All those hard inquiries and declines aren't going to help you build a score.
Why does
Keep
that
in mind,
even matter?
a secured card is different from a prepaid card.
We'll talk.
A prepaid card allows you to load the card with a cash amount ahead of time to spend later. Prepaid cards are great for people who need a Visa or MasterCard to make a purchase, and can be a terrific gift idea. But they won't help establish credit. Another way to build credit is to see if there's someone who might be willing to co-sign a loan with you. This can be any adult who is credit-worthy, including your parents or spouse. When someone co-signs a loan, you get the benefit of their good credit history, and this may help you get approved. You can then build your own credit with a good history of payment on the co-signed account. Now, whoever co-signs the loan for you is taking on a really big financial responsibility. They'll be on the hook for the debt if you run into trouble, so it's not something you should ask for lightly.
So if you fuck up...
When you do get credit extended to you, it's important to keep managing it carefully, even after you've built a history. You're doing the right thing by getting off on the right foot. Now make sure you keep those good habits the rest of your credit life. This will help you build a long, positive credit history that will eventually result in a really good credit score.
That is exactly how you can build credit from scratch. And it's the way I've always taught my kids, because they're usually almost always starting off with no credit, is basically either to try and get one card through their bank or get a secured card through their bank. And the reason being is because your bank sees your history, knows how you've been. Now, my kids are financially irresponsible, so of course, they're going to fucking never, ever, 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 ever get a fucking loan or anything from our bank because they're always under in their accounts. And the bank sees that and they know, oh, financial irresponsibility? Pfft, we're not giving you shit. Which is funny because my wife and I used to do that, I don't know, 10 years ago. And we never got credit, but we never tried for credit. But then once we got a house and a mortgage and all these other things, and then we finally started getting some credit, and we got some credit cards, and we maxed the fuck out of every single one of them. I went back to my bank and I said, "Hey, bank, our checking accounts hasn't been under in a decade. How about you guys give me a fucking credit card or give me a loan or something?" And every time, except for the one time that I was desperate for a car, other than that, they've been like, no. So
go ahead and give them a free plug. Who was it?
Free plug. I like to plug them, all right. The name of the bank. I shouldn't mention the name of the bank because Members First Federal Credit Union is probably not a good idea to mention them on the air. But yeah, they basically
Members First doesn't hear about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I've been trying to let them know about it. I yell it and scream at every place and chance that I get. Somebody says, "Oh, man, Members First." Yeah, fuck Members First.
Well, Members First has now become a bank.
But
they're a credit union on paper, but
right.
they're now a bank.
Yes, yeah. They're not interested in doing what, a credit union typically would do.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we're a hometown bank and we're all local and we make all of our credit decisions right here in Mechanicsburg." And you fucking assholes, give me a loan, man. I have yet to default on a loan. I have yet to fucking fail paying anything back that they loaned me. I've already paid off my car loan with them. So what the fuck? Why can't they just, And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. I'm going to give you a good example. Okay, first of all, let's discuss the history of credit. The history of credit works like this. Initially, retail stores and banks wanted to be able to loan out money. Now, where does a bank get its money to loan?
Right now, it gets it from the Federal Reserve, but that's a whole different topic for another show.
A lot of the times, it's the deposits of the people that bring their money in, but okay. If they have all that extra cash, they're like, well, what are we going to do with this cash? We need to make some more money with this. Besides the fact that if you have a money-making account, in other words, if you're getting any type of interest or anything like that on a savings account or a CD or anything like that, a certificate of a deposit, if you don't know what a CD is, not a compact disc. Yeah. Some people don't know, man. That's
I know. I take that snort chuckle back. With that snuckle.
You did some kind of like auction shit over there. It was pretty cool. Anyhow, the history of credit was banks and retail stores. Actually, it started with retail stores. Okay. This did not happen with banks. Banks at one point in time never gave you a loan. Never. They never had an opportunity to do that kind of thing. All they wanted to do was play with your money. And that was pretty much it. So it was retail stores. It was general shops, mom and pop shops out in the Midwest and areas like that they knew people were too far away to go and have to bring in a payment or, you know what I mean, bring in their money because they were afraid people would get robbed, so on and so forth. So there was issues with that. And those issues became what we know as credit. And what happened was store owners would actually go in and give you a certain amount of money that you could spend. But it wasn't an amount. It wasn't like, okay, I'm giving you $100. It was, what do you need? Okay, here's what you're getting. Okay, you're buying this. You're buying feed for your cows. You know you have cows. That's good because that's like collateral for the most part. But what we're going to do is we're going to afford you the opportunity to sell those cows, make the money back, and then pay us. So there was no net terms, what they call net terms in business. Net terms like 30, net 30, net 60, net 90. What that means is you have an amount of time from the time you spend money to pay that money off. So net 30 would be 30 days, net 60 would be 60 days, and 90 days, of course. So that's what they didn't have any of that. They basically were just like, we know you're going to sell your cows, just come back in. It was all on faith. It was all on trust. The one thing that they did not have with credit and any retail mom and pop shop, seed place, nothing. They did not have interest rates. There was no such thing as interest rates. It was you borrowed $100, you paid $100.
Their money was already made in the profits of the goods, which probably maybe even added a little bit more inflation.
Right. Well, maybe
not inflation, but to add a little bit more to the price of the goods.
Yeah, to top up the markup. Yeah, maybe a little bit. And maybe even the store seller might have been like, well, I'm going to raise it a penny per pound. So, here's how much you're going to end up paying. Either way, the person was happy because they had a chance to use that. But there was no interest rate. There was nothing they had to pay back extra money-wise. Because the store owner knew that this person was going to pay them back because everybody was faithful and trustworthy. And they would go ahead and give them this. And they knew, number one, they were making the sale. Number two, they were making new customers because that customer, Farmer John, would go out and tell Farmer Joe, and Farmer Joe would show up and do the same fucking thing. And 9 times out of 10, if something were to happen and they weren't unable to pay the money back, let's say they had a cow that they couldn't sell, and that was the money they were going to pay back to feed. They could always take the cow to the shop owner and give it to them and take it as that money, basically like their collateral. So that's really how credit started, okay? The problem is that banks got involved. And banks saw what retail establishments were doing and thought, wow, we could do the same because we have all this money we're floating in and give all these people things, that they can go out and that they can buy. And we don't have to necessarily say, you owe us this, you got to pay it back within a certain amount of time. We can be kind of liberal with it, but we're going to make it so that we need to make a little bit of money off of it. So they created the thing called the interest rate. The very first interest rate was something like 1 penny on $10.
Wow.
Yeah, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. If you really, really consider it, it's not a lot.
No, it's hardly anything.
Right. But you have to understand $10 then in the 1870s, I think, or 1880s.
Which is still less than 1%.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's way, way, way down there. I think it's like 0.01%, if I'm not mistaken. That could be. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyhow, the fact of it is they knew that they were going to make a little teeny tiny bit of money off the top end of this. So they started with that. Then, of course, all the backers and brokers and all the stockholders and all these fucking assholes had to get involved. And when they did, they started hiking up those interest rates because The bank, they're floating in all that money, but they still need to pay back their shareholders, and they need to pay back these people, and they need to pay their tellers, and they need to pay their people, their bank managers, and their security guards, and blah, blah, blah. The Pinkertons. They need to pay back the Pinkertons. Yeah. And really, honestly, the reason why that became such a big thing, honestly, was because of Pinkertons. It wasn't because of the Pinkertons themselves. It was the fact that they needed them, because stagecoach and train robberies were very, very big. They were becoming bigger, and in order to get any type of security, to say, hey, man, if we lose this money, what are we going to do? Because really, honestly, a bank was like, hey, here's all this money. Oh, somebody stole it all. Well, fuck, what do we do now? There was no coverage. There's no FDIC. There was nothing, basically. Whereas Pinkertons came in, they were sort of like a twofold service. They were kind of an insurance at the same time, but they were also the guys who held the guns. So they were the lawmen, basically, of all that, It was kind of like a guard service, like a armored guard, armored car. And they did have those too. But anyway, yeah, so that's where it started, and that's where it started inflating. And it got bigger, and it got bigger, and it got bigger. Finally, somewhere along the lines, I forgot what the year was, but I know it was in the 1900s, we started this thing called the credit analysis, which was the predecessor to the credit score. The credit analysis was basically a way for companies that you borrowed from, whether it be some small mom and pop shop, if they wanted to do that, just like they spoke about in this video. Somebody has to report whether or not you do well or do poorly. Usually only some places, especially, small stores and stuff, only report if you did poorly. They don't report if you did well. Yeah, they went ahead and got all those little teeny tiny places to start sending in these analysis of what the people were doing, if they were paying their shit on time. Remember, at this point in time, there was no such thing called the Social Security number, so there was no easy way to be able to track just who you were. It went by name and address, and that was it. If you didn't have an accurate address, you didn't get credit. Basically, your credit analysis was coming back as, we don't know who this dude is, I don't know if you want to give him credit. So, it was that simple, basically. There was no score. Then the credit score came around. This started, I believe, in the 50s and 60s. What ended up happening with that was 3 different companies started the process of keeping and analyzing credit information. Basically, they were their credit analysis companies. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, TransUnion was one of the oldest ones. Experian, and then Equifax are all 3 of the credit bureaus, what they call the credit bureaus. They
can all go to hell.
Yep, basically. They all 3 keep individual records of your credit history. Now, here's the interesting part about this. Not every single place you go to uses all 3. As a matter of fact, the majority of places you go to do not use all 3. They use one. And they usually use one that either their parent company uses or something that, other people found to be, worthy or trendworthy or whatever, and they started using it. So a lot of people use TransUnion because it's been around for a really long time. I don't know if you remember, but TransUnion used to have the really big commercials in the 1970s and 80s. Used to come on and talk about TransUnion, your credit's important, and shit like that. The same thing with these other 2 companies. They started doing the same things too, and they all 3 of them are basically, their whole business is you. Everybody in the United States that has a Social Security number and the ability to track what they do when it comes to credit, they do it. Now, here's the problem. They're not right. They're almost never right.
I tell you what, they're totally... just a side note. Well, no, it relates. The 2 pictures of me. One, if you don't know me, you go and get a credit report, and you see this guy has no credit.
Right.
He's a bum.
Right.
Now, if you know me, you know that my rent is paid on time every month for the last 15 years to the same landlord.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't show up in my credit report, not at all. Like I said, I have no credit, so I'm a bum. But, I pay my electric bill, I pay my UGI bill.
Right.
And they're one of those people that only report if you fuck up.
Right. Exactly. They don't report if you're doing something positive. If you've paid your bill.
So you got this picture of me from TransUnion, and then you get this picture of the real me.
Right.
So why can't I sue TransUnion for basically
Fucking up your life.
Defamation of character?
Well, it's not necessarily defamation of your character. It is destroying your character in a way, but it's not defaming it. What it is doing, on the other hand, is inaccurately providing a profile of who you are and your credit worthiness.
That is correct.
And there is a way that you can sue them. You can take them to court, and you can, hire a lawyer. But the thing is, you have to come up with hiring a lawyer and doing all the dumb shit in order to do it. And a lot of lawyers won't take that on because these companies, like I said, that all they do is credit, and that's all they do. And they have a legal team that like fucking befuddles the majority of large corporations worldwide. These guys probably have 500 to 600 lawyers on staff because that's all they contend with is people suing.
Case.
Yep. Yes, sir. The jury, the courts area over here is the left attorneys, and over here are our right attorneys. Mm-hmm. Did you say white? No, I said right attorneys. These are our right attorneys. We don't have any black attorneys. No. Anyway.
Your Honor, we need to change the venue to like a stadium with all these attorneys.
Exactly. They will come and they will hunt you down and they will fuck you up. And if you can't prove without a reasonable, not even a reasonable doubt, you have to prove like beyond that they were out to fuck you, then you can't. Basically, Bill Cosby. If you can't
Bill Cosby's going to jail, so maybe
one day.
If you
can't prove I was out to fuck you, yeah. I like putting my dick where it don't belong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's exactly right, man. It's going to be a very uphill battle for you. But here's the thing: there are places in the United States that are absolutely 100% nonprofit. They are free, and they are advocates for credit fixing. Basically, what they do is they help you to get your credit fixed. Okay.
Who are they?
To be honest, I don't know right offhand. I just know they exist. I couldn't give you anybody's specific name, but they are out there. Now, you need to be careful of the ones that are on the radio. The ones that are on the radio are not nonprofit. You need to find the ones that are nonprofit.
Some of the for-profit are very good.
They're good.
But you will be paying for that service.
Yes, you will be blowing somebody. Anyway, because man, I tell you what, that the payments on that shit are going to be high. So the interesting thing here is that these three services do a job and they do it rather well. I mean, if you think about it, they have 280 million Americans that they stay after. They know what you're doing at any given time.
Do they?
Yes. I mean, I'm not, to an extent. They're not like, oh my God, he's masturbating. Not like that.
Well, but I contend they don't. They do, but they don't.
They do, yes. They do, but they don't. They do know what you're doing, but they know inaccurately what you're doing. One of the biggest problems that we had for the longest time with credit is medical credit. And one of the biggest problems with medical credit was if you didn't pay a hospital bill, at one point, if you tried to get credit for just about anything, they wouldn't give it to you because you had bad credit because of hospital bills that you failed to pay. Now, why should you be held accountable for something you couldn't control? You can't control being sick. I mean, unless you're a hypochondriac, but then your fucking medical bills will be like $6 million. You know what I mean? Crazy shit. Unless you have insurance, of course. Then your medical bills will be $6 million. That's basically how it works nowadays. It definitely is one of those really weird things that finally somebody came along in some presidential administration, I don't know, maybe Obama, that basically said, hey, man, if you fucked up and your credit's screwed up, but you have these medical bills that are on there, we're not going to fucking hold those against you anymore. We're not going to let them take you apart over this because that's
curious
just wrong.
to know if that's still sticking. Is that from Obama?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm curious to know if that's still sticking.
Yeah.
Because
I think it is.
My wife has like 2 or 3 of them that are medical.
Yeah.
And they're relatively small and minor.
Yeah.
But they're still there. It's just like
they'll haunt you.
We've got better things to do with $500 than just go give it off at some agency somewhere.
Now, if I remember correctly, reading a couple of years ago, they had talked about when they said about this administration's push for this credit thing for the medical bills not being taken into account. They said something to the effect of it also, and I don't know if this stuck or not, but they said it also really, really depends on what you're going for credit for. If you're going for credit to buy a fucking Ferrari, you can probably guess you're not going to get that because you can't pay a $200 medical bill, but you're going to buy a $450,000 car. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
You're approved. Yeah. JD by Ryder. No, but that was the thing. It was definitely a go ahead and check and see what exactly they're trying to get credit for, and basically putting the hands kind of into whatever you're kind of going for. So kind of gave it to the car dealership if they checked your credit and it came back you had some medical bills. If you're buying a $2,000 car that is a hunk of shit and they're just giving you a real quick loan, probably going to give it to you. If you're buying that $450,000 Ferrari, which by the way is very cheap for a Ferrari, then you should probably expect that they're going to come back and say no, it's not going to happen. Because then again, you also have to have really good credit. Speaking of really good credit, let me point something out to you.
Okay.
Some interesting thing here. Quite a few years back, we moved over from the regular credit score, what we called the credit score, to a new thing called the FICO score. Basically, it was, I believe, 350 to 850 could be the score. Okay? Anything below what they say around 600, 620 is considered poor credit. Okay? Now, if you do the math, just real quick and simple, do the math. You're going to find out that, there's a whole lot more to that bottom end than there is to that top end. Because if you're poor credit at 600 or 620, you only have 230 technically that you could go, or 250 more that you could technically go above that to be in fair, good, and excellent credit. See what I'm saying? So they got all this shit up here squashed into this 600 to 850. But from 600 to 350, well, you're fucked because you're not getting a damn thing. They're not going to give you shit. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So they expected that there was going to be a large group of people that were going to be in that low, shitty area. And that's why I believe that they put that area so much bigger. It also gave you a little opportunity for movement, a little easier movement down there. Because I promise you, when you reach over 620, it gets fucking hard to get your stuff. Now, let me explain this. Here's my situation.
You got some splaining to do.
Here's my splaining. As of April 13th, my credit score was 636. Okay. Now, this is not a hard and fast FICO score. This is what they call a soft pull. A soft pull is when you check your own credit score and they bring up the information that they have without doing what they call a hard inquiry, which they talked about in that little video. A hard inquiry is when you go do something like get a credit card. And even then, nowadays, they still don't do a lot of hard inquiries. Really, it comes down to mortgages. It comes down to car loans or big loans. And anything that's really, really big and powerful, like university loans, tuition, so on and so forth. Any type of student loans. And even then, my credit sucked when I got my student loans, 10 years ago.
Oh, they're guaranteed by the federal government.
Yes,
so.
they are. But that wasn't a guarantee that you were going to get them. You could get the grants, but not necessarily the Stafford loans. The Stafford loans come in two varieties. They're two flavors, like vanilla and chocolate. One is the direct unsubsidized loan, and the other one is the direct subsidized loan. In other words, the unsubsidized loan is, fuck you, you're paying the whole thing back. The other one is the direct subsidized loan, which is basically like saying, hey, you know what? We're going to give you this money, and if something happens or we need to take a little bit of time here, we're going to let that happen. You're going to be okay. It's so much harder to get a direct subsidized loan, Stafford loan, than it is to get an unsubsidized loan. So unsubsidized is like prime, a subprime loan. Basically what killed our bubble in 2008 with the housing market because they were giving houses out like fucking candy at a fucking Halloween
Trick-or-treat night.
parade.
Oh, I got a rancher.
Well, I got a whole Snickers bar. I guess he wants me to do me in the ass again. Anyway.
Again?
This must be a big thing for kids. So anyway, that was my score in April. Okay. Checked it today, 631. So it dropped 5 points. Okay.
It probably changes daily, dude.
Kind of, yes. But if you submit your information for a hard pull, they will give you the actual score. Now, the last time that I had my actual score pulled, I was at 661, I think. So I was a lot higher than what I'm seeing here. So the good news is, if you go to your Discover card or your Capital One card or any of these card apps on your phone, sometimes they have the credit checker. Or you can actually go to a thing called creditkarma.com, which will do a soft pull on your credit and find out exactly what your credit is. And you can look it up every day if you want to. It doesn't matter, but it won't change. It won't change rapidly because it's a soft pull. It's not a hard pull. Okay, now here's the interesting. I dropped 5 points. Now, what did I do in the last 2 months? I paid off 2 significant loans totaling $16,000. I paid all of my credit card bills, my mortgage, every single thing that I owed. Basically, I have yet to fucking fail. And I dropped 5 points. Now,
How is that?
the reason being is because paying off a loan early can actually be harmful.
See, there you go.
I know.
See,
Exactly.
there you go. They don't know me. I'm going to pay off the loan early because I want it off my back.
Right. And then they fuck you in the drive-thru.
So because I want to pay it off early, I'm a credit risk?
Right. Exactly. Now, no, listen to this.
No, I know. Follow the money. It's because they're not going to make that much fucking money off me.
Here's the 5 things they look at. There's 5 things that they individually look at for your credit score when they're evaluating your credit and figuring out what they. Here's the 5 things. Go ahead.
Can I say one thing first of all?
Sure.
That damn credit score.
Okay.
Why are you going to start it at 400?
Yeah.
On a scale of 4 to 10, what was she like in bed? I'm a 13. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
400. Yeah. The 400 is if you have basically no credit. That's really kind of what it's saying.
You're going to start. Okay, here we go again with the Kelvin, Fahrenheit,
Celsius
scale thing.
Yeah.
3 different things. I mean,
Yeah.
all the same thing. But anyways, go ahead.
So anyway,
You're on.
there's 5. You're on Jeff and Dan Live. There's 5 things that you have to pay attention to with your credit. Okay. The 5 things, these are all the factors, what they call key factors in your credit score. Okay. These all have to do with your history. Has nothing to do with your future. Although that'd be kind of interesting if they could fucking do that. We predict that you're probably going to pay all your bills. Yeah. Okay. So the number one big one is total accounts. The total accounts is every single account that you can have credit-wise. Okay. What that means is a mortgage. It could mean your utility bills. It could mean it usually doesn't mean your utility bills, but it could. It could mean your open credit cards, what they call revolving charge accounts, which means, hey, man, I have a $500 balance. Oops, I went out today and spent $100 of it. I only have $400. Oh, well, I paid the $100 off. Now I have $500 again. Basically, you're recharging the account. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you pay it off, it goes back up. That's the great thing, except for the interest rates. Not so much. So total accounts. Total accounts is kind of a big thing because if you have too little accounts, people don't trust that your credit score is accurate. And if you have too many accounts, then they feel like you're being flooded. You can't afford to pay your shit. That's what they think.
As a person, as a banker that would be doing business with somebody I don't really know, and I'm trusting your computer profile, I would want to see you with less accounts because more accounts sounds like maybe you are spread a little too thin. And
it could be.
Another $400 a month payment you won't be able to make.
Yes, it could
But if you fucking knew me, you know I wouldn't be asking for the damn shit to begin with unless I needed it and knew I could do it.
Well, that's the interesting thing, and we'll talk about that later, about how credit works at a bank, or, pretty much anybody. But here, let me keep talking about this. My total accounts is 40.
You have 40 accounts?
I have 40 open accounts, yes.
Oh, my God.
Right, I know, see? But here's the thing. I have like 18 of those are my student loans.
Which are really just one loan with 18 different loans.
Every semester, it's a brand new loan. Right. So, yeah. So that's what it is. I'm paying off these little fucking loans over time. And yeah, they want to do it that way because they want you to be able to pay it back. But they also want to be able to make a little bit of coin off of it. Mm-hmm. The next one that they look at, and these aren't necessarily in order so much, but this one is kind of important. The big one is length of credit. How long have you had credit, and how long has it been good, or how long has it been bad? My length of credit, 14 years. What the fuck I bought 14 years ago? I have no idea. But I have something from 14 years ago, and it's all in the up and up. Both of these things, by the way, my total accounts and my length in years are good. Okay, 40 accounts is good. Mostly because, like I said, it's a lot of student loans. Inquiries is the next one. Inquiries is the hard inquiry that I explained to you about. I can get a credit card right now. Well, I shouldn't rub that in, but no. Just an example, I could go and get a credit card, and they will pull it. It'll be a soft pull, more than likely. They won't try and pull a hard pull unless I fail the soft pull. You see what I'm saying? And then I press the issue. Because once I soft pull it enough, it's going to get hard. Oh, God, that's so true. No, I'm just kidding. But no, inquiries. I have one. They look back the last 2 years to see how many inquiries you have. And I've had one hard inquiry in the last 2 years. Okay, so that's also very, very good. The lower your inquiries, the better. It means more than likely you got credit and somebody was willing to give you it, and they're idiots, they're putzes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that at all. How many times checking my credit is going to affect my credit? I want to see what's going on.
Right.
I want to see what's going on, so that's being held against me?
You can check your credit as much as you want. It doesn't count.
Okay.
You can hard inquiry yourself to death. Basically, you can get hard to death. And nothing. It will do nothing to your credit. It's only when you go out places like a bank and you try to get a loan for a car, or you go out to another bank or a mortgage place and you try and get a mortgage for a house. Those are hard inquiries. Those will be held against you in a court of law. So, those are the ones you have to be worried about. The other ones, the small ones, like store cards and shit like that, they're tiny. They're soft pulls, and they don't do anything to your credit. They won't screw up your credit, believe it or not. It's only when you press the issue. Like you go to these credit card sites and you try and get a credit card and it says, we'll give you an answer in 60 seconds. And you hit the button and you wait about 14 seconds and then it pops back up and says, hey man, we're willing to give you this much. Or hell, we're sorry, but we're going to send you a letter in the fucking mail that says, here's the reason why we're not going to give you a fucking credit card. Which some of them are just fucking stupid. They're stupid as shit. Like the stuff they send me, dude, it's like, I can't believe you declined me because of this. I literally got a letter one time with one thing on there, and it was so dumb. And I'm like, that is fucking stupid. I don't know why they didn't give it to me.
Did you let them know it?
I did not. I just didn't pursue it. I said, fuck them. I'm going to skip this next one, but the last one, and this I believe is the most important thing, but is the least likely thing they fucking look at, man. Least likely thing they look at. Missed payments. They don't look at that shit. It's like at the bottom of the list. And I'm like, why the fuck is this at the bottom? That should be my number one thing. They need to look at that and go, okay, he's missed 0 payments. And that's what it says on here, 0 payments. And this goes back 2 years as well. So they should be fucking giving me credit left and right for that kind of shit.
Do you think maybe possibility that, you know how if you take an item, any item, it could be an ugly turd, just like an ugly turd.
Okay.
But you put a can of paint, you take a can of paint out and whap it on there and paint that turd, and maybe get some googly eyes from the craft store and put that on there, and you give it a really nice name, like Red Googly Eye Man.
Yeah.
Okay. He's no longer a turd, but he's still a turd. He's just,
right.
You've now just changed his perception.
Deep down inside, he's still a turd.
Right. So what if maybe they're not really checking credit scores? Maybe it's not really a credit score, but maybe it's a really, how much can we own this person?
That could be. That could be that. That's
How
a very
much can we own this person, and how much can he? Look at look at them as if they're cattle, dude. Look like Bessie is going to bring me in 10 pounds of milk every morning. I don't know if that's a lot.
Gallons. Gallons. I would go with gallons.
Farmers sell it in pounds. That's a dumb thing too.
Yeah.
They sell it in pounds and sold to us in gallons.
I guess it's cream, yeah, because the cream
Yeah,
content.
they do take the butterfat and all that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Susan only gives me 8 pounds in the morning. Kind of sounds like sex, doesn't it?
Yeah. She gave me some 8-pounders.
So let's go and get Bessie's. And how are we going to get Bessie's? By, looking at their credit report.
Exactly.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
What would just go out and get 10 pounders instead of the 7 and 8 pounders?
Right. That's initially what's called prime credit. That is initially what is prime credit. They want the most people that give them 10 pounds of milk a day. They don't want the 8-pound people. The 8-pound people are kind of in the prime area, but not really. The 6-pound people are the subprime. They're the ones that are less than prime, but we're willing to give them a shot sometimes. And let's see if they fuck up.
Yeah, we can break even. We sell their butterfat even if they do stiff us.
Exactly. We still have ways of going back on this. Which I'm going to go over one of those here in a second, which is just phenomenally fucking funny.
Okay.
It just remind me that I wanted to talk about sales of credit.
Sales of credit.
Sales of credit, yes. Finally, the last one, and this is the one that I have a big red next to it. Every other one's green. And because this one has a little red next to it, my whole situation is yellow. That's the reason why my my scores is so quote unquote low.
3 greens and a red make it yellow.
4 greens and a red.
4 greens and a red.
Yeah. Can you take a possible guess at what it is? What's the last possible thing that you can think of? What would I have? I already mentioned it.
Living history?
No.
Let me think.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give up.
Okay. Utilization.
Utilization.
Maxed out my cards.
Remember
I said that? Yeah, I maxed out my cards. I did. I maxed out a lot of my cards. I have a couple that, don't have maxes on them. But then again, I don't shop at the Bon-Ton. You know what I'm saying? I got a card because I went there one time to buy a gift for the wife, and the bitch is like, would you like to try for Bon-Ton card? We'll go ahead and give you $10 off today and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I looked at her and I said, they ain't going to give me shit. And she said, well, you can still try. And I'm like, fuck it. I was like, this bitch is going to get $5 anyway. So I filled out my shit and put it in there. And sure enough, they gave me a $300 credit card. I'm like, you dumbasses. And this was early on. This was really early on. Unlike Guitar Center, who decided to give me $900 early on, of which I blew most of it early on. Revolving utilization is what it's called. And mine right now is at 86%. So basically, 86% of all my credit is used up. Okay. That doesn't typically count loans. The reason being is because it's not a utilization kind of thing, unless it's something called a HELOC loan. Do you know what a HELOC loan is?
No.
It stands for HELOC, which is the Home Equity Line of Credit.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's the same thing as a revolving charge account, except your bank or a mortgage company usually gives it to you and says, oh, this is how much equity you've bought in your house so far. So, we've already bought $40,000 into our house, which is great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that's probably interest, but still, we bought a lot into it. But I've also made the house go up in price, by the way. I won't tell you how I did that, but...
It involves passcodes.
Yes, it involves passcodes and changing some numbers on a computer somewhere. So the thing was, you don't typically count loans. So any revolving utilization, in other words, any type of credit cards that you pay off and then use again, pay off, use again, pay off, use again. Any of those, 86%. Now, that's not 100% accurate. That's probably not even close to accurate right now. Mine's probably more like 99.6%. Again, they're pretty maxed at the moment.
Jeff,
I know, right?
I got to tell you, man. I really got to tell you. I don't want to have this conversation with you, but I got to tell you.
Okay.
The lab analysis says You're only giving me 6 pounds of milk in the morning, and your butter fat is at 86%. I know we can get that up to 99%, but I don't know how. I'm just afraid right now we're gonna have to say no.
Yeah.
Come and see us in 6 months.
Exactly.
You want to see us? Hey, I'll recommend a good attorney for you. Gates and Mooney, right next door.
We love them. $20 down, and we'll tell you to fuck off.
I don't even think they're in business anymore.
Yeah, they are. They're called Gates and Associates, or Mooney and Associates.
Mooney and Associates.
Yes, okay. MA. Yeah, Mooning Associates. No, but yeah, that's basically what it is. Okay, and that's kind of what the FICO score focuses on. It focuses on those 5 key areas.
I'm telling you, man, it looks more and more clear to me like we're a herd of cattle.
Yes, yeah. Oh, dude, it gets worse. It gets a lot fucking worse. And here's the one: sale of credit. I'm going to explain to you what a sale of credit is.
What is a sale of credit?
Well, first of all, before I do that, the majority of my credit cards have about 24 to 29.99% APR, which we don't talk much about APR, but what APR basically is your annual percentage rate. And it breaks down like this. Each month, you have an outstanding balance. Every balance that you have has a certain amount of money applied to, or a certain amount of percentage applied towards it that you end up having to pay to the credit card company. So what that means is, if you borrowed their money, you have an interest rate you now need to pay. That payment you made on your credit card for $40 didn't cover the $43 they just charged you for the interest rate. So now you're fucked. Now I'll tell you what. A lot of people don't know this, but I will tell you right now, straight off the bat, if you ever get an offer, and I promise you, you will get thousands of them if you get even one credit card, do not take a Capital One card. What's in your wallet? No money, because they fucking took it all. That's the reason why you don't look in your fucking wallet. No, seriously, Capital One charges 29.99%. And I'll tell you the most evil fucking thing on the planet, and it's legal. They can do it, and I've already looked it up numerous times, and it's the biggest bunch of bullshit. I got a $2,500 credit limit with them, okay? The first month that I had it, I got a $20 cash advance. Or no, $40 cash advance, which you can do with a lot of credit cards. You can get a cash advance and we'll buy some shit. Ever since then, I have driven that credit card up, okay?
Can you keep talking?
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just go to commercial. We'll do some commercials. Yeah, how about that? Let's commercial.
It's a sunshiny day. The sun is out. The air is so crisp and clean.
Don't let this distract you from the fact that if you or a loved one have been diagnosed with the ability to breathe, you may be entitled to financial compensation. I am a non-attorney spokesperson for the law offices of Fuker and Lever. If your life has been affected by breathing, you have rights. A right to breathe contaminated air, a right to representative counsel, a right to a trial by peers, a right to pay your attorney 61% of your winnings, a right to financial compensation, but only if you act now. Side effects of being a winner may include a new Lamborghini, a new mansion in the Hollywood Hills, a harem of contaminated air-breathing women, a crisp $2 bill, or any one of the fabulous prizes just waiting to be won on Wheel. Call the law offices of Fuker and Lever.
Yeah, that's right. Here's one we haven't played in a while. Here's a commercial.
Hey, Jeff and Dan fans, this is Jacob.
And I'm Tyson.
And we're with the Jive Turkeys podcast. If you ever wanted to hang out with your friends, damn it.
But, like, get drunk?
If you ever wanted the feeling of hanging out with your drunk friends but not have to worry about taking them home and cleaning their vomit out of the backseat of your car?
Or how about wanting to experience the thrill of taking a dump in a public swimming pool?
Well, maybe the Jive Turkeys podcast is just for you. Check us out on iTunes, the podcasting app on iOS, Stitcher, Google Play, and CastBox.
We're the Jive Turkeys on Facebook.
God damn it, no. You sound like a fucking waterhead.
Also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jive Turkeys.
Later, fuckers. You can't see it, but I'm flipping you off. And now back to the Jeff and Dan show. Take it away, guys.
If you are listening to the Jeff and Dan show right now and you have your own podcast, or hell, even if you have a product you'd like to sell for free, you can advertise with us. Just let us know. Stop by our website, jeffanddan.com. Visit our contact form. And let us know. Let us know what you have. And we'll either help you create a commercial, or you can create a commercial for yourself. Give us something about 30 to 60 seconds, and we'll play it on the air for you. Hey, Dan's back and after his Instapiss. And
I'm back, and let me tell you what, it sucks having 3 kidneys.
it sucks having 3 balls. E.T., the extra testicle. Anyway, so we were talking about drugs.
Sale of credit.
Oh,
credit
yes.
sales.
Okay, yeah, credit sales. There we go. Okay. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Let's say you, Dan, get a $1,000 credit card. Okay? Let's say you, Dan, go out and blow the $1,000 credit card. And let's say you, Dan, decide not to pay the fucking credit card.
I bought all that candy and gum.
That's right. You were just like, I am so fucking jitzed right now with all this fucking sugar. I totally forgot how to pay bills. Let's just say you failed to pay it. And let's say they go for, first of all, the credit score used to, I don't know if they still do, I'm pretty sure they probably do. They used to ding you whenever you would not pay on a bill, on a credit card or anything, any kind of credit.
That's what was drilled into my head for
Yes.
years.
And it was just like the business thing, net 30, net 60, net 90. Basically what that meant in this case was that you would get dinged at 30 days outside the time you were supposed to make the payment. Okay? So they could report you at 30 days, which was a fucking negative on your credit. But then at 60 days, if you still had failed to pay it, they would ding you again. And this looks even fucking worse.
Yes.
Because at this point, they've probably already sent you 17 emails and 22 fucking actual letters to let you know, hey man, you owe us some fucking money. But you haven't paid it. And after 90 days, you might as well forget it because now they're going to send it to what they call collections. This is the interesting thing here that we call the sale of credit. The sale of credit is an interesting marketing thing in the world. Dan has spent his $1,000. He's blown his $1,000 load.
All over the place.
And he forgot to pay his bill. 90 days have gone by and they are sending your credit or your information off to a collection agency who are the most notoriously fucking asshole pieces of shit, goddamn motherfucking cocksuckers that you will ever fucking deal with. Ever.
And you're just warming up.
Yes, yes. And there's a lot more of the vernacular that I could go with on that, but I'm going to avoid that at the moment because they are the lowest form of life. I literally had a fucking bill collector call me 9 times a day to try and collect on a bill.
Wow.
Now, here's the interesting part. You will receive letters from these collectors, okay? And the collector's going to say, well, you owe $1,000. Pay the $1,000. You rip it up or put it in your paper shredder or fucking chew on it or use it as toilet paper and basically don't fucking pay attention to it. So another week goes by and they send you another letter. Finally, after about 6 weeks of the same shit and basically the same material to wipe your ass, they finally send you another letter. They take a little hiatus, and then they finally send you another letter. This time, Dan, they say to you, you know what? We would be willing to go ahead and negate this credit problem and this bill that you owe for $600. You don't have to pay the $1,000 back anymore. Now we'll take $600.
That's a deal.
But then you think, oh, yeah, that's a deal, but they want the $600 all up front. And you're like, no, I don't fucking have that. If I had that, I'd just use that credit card. But no, you can't do that. So basically, you just wipe your ass with that, too. And they send more of those and more of those and more of those. Finally, they send you another one that says, you know what? We're willing to work with you here. We'll let you pay 3 easy installments of $150 a piece. Now, if you do the calculations in math, which I really suck at math, 3 at 150 is $450 of your $1,000 bill. Okay, so they're losing money now, supposedly. Losing money.
No.
Okay, right. So they're going to hit the $450. Now, what you do with it is like, well, I don't know if I want to pay that or not, but $150 is pretty easy. I could probably do that monthly as long as they were cool with that. And you could call and set up some shit. And of course, they're going to harass the fuck out of you. Well, why didn't you pay this to begin with? And blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And I got to be a dick. And look at me, I'm an asshole. I'm going to be a fucking piece of shit on the phone to you because fuck you and you fucking suck. Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. The fun part about that is that you can make the payments and pay that off. And then you will make sure that when you talk to them over the phone, you say, this needs to be removed from my credit report immediately after the final payment. Will it happen? And if they say yes, then you have them on recording and you say, this motherfucker said yes. and I should be having this removed. Okay, that's if you pay it. But let's just say you don't pay that. Let's just say the $450, it still doesn't seem very enticing. Now, this is probably something I should not be telling people, but I'm going to tell people this. If you let it go, and you don't answer their phone calls, and you don't answer their mail, basically you flush their mail after you wipe with it, then you will not receive shit from them anymore. But now they've decided to sell off your debt to somebody else. And now you'll start receiving it from somebody that's even a deeper asshole. Like I'm looking at somebody's brain. That's how deep this asshole goes. And that's the fucked up part about this. They have sold your credit. They sold it. They sold your ability to straighten out your credit. Okay? Now, this new company wants $300 up front. You don't have it. You let it go. 3 weeks go by. 642 phone calls later that never get answered. They finally send you another thing. Listen, we're willing to let you pay this 99 cents, get it done and over with. And you're just like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Here you go. Here's my credit card. We're sorry, sir, it was declined. Well, shit happens.
Hold on, I'm on the phone with the other guy. Just hold on.
So you go and pay it off, okay? And they take it off your record. You have to wonder now, how did you go from $1,000 to 99 cents? This is weird. How did this happen? I'll tell you how this happened. Because the company that you have fucked over to begin with, let's just say it's, Capital One. Good one. Capital One has their own collection service, by the way, which sucks. I haven't really had to deal with them, but I've read on it, and it really sucks. But that's the thing. If you go and you let that go lapse by or whatever, and they end up getting rid of it, what they do is they sell it for pennies on the dollar.
Yes.
So they'll take your $1,000 debt and sell it for $240.
Right.
And those companies will buy it up, and of course they want you to pay that $1,000 right away, and maybe you will, but you won't. Maybe you'll pay the $600, maybe you will, but you won't. Maybe you'll pay the $450, but you won't. And continues on until it's 99 cents. Basically comes down to that, okay? The reason being is because now that they've lost it, the company initially, let's say it's Capital One, has sold that off as a loss and can now claim it on their taxes. So you're a write-off. They don't fucking care. They don't give a shit. They're like, I just wrote you there you go. Not only did I write you off for $1,000, but I turned around and sold that motherfucker to somebody else for $240. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous how this system works. And it's frustrating, irritating, and bullshit all at the same time.
Here's an idea. Maybe we could try and trap one of these companies,
okay,
which I would love to do.
Okay. I'm not fucking up my credit if that's what you want.
No. We'll just take anybody that wants to volunteer. You got shitty credit, nothing to lose, give me a call.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me an email.
There you go. Jeff and Dan at jeffanddan.com.
Let's just say that this $1,000 that I owed, okay, Company A sold it to Debt Collector Company X. And Debt Collector Company X harassed me for a little while and saw this guy ain't paying.
Right.
Let's just sell it now for $110. We take a $110 loss. Mm-hmm. Write it off. Okay. Right. And we sold it to Debt Collector Company
XYZ.
XYZ.
There you go.
Okay. Now, can we call one night to Debt Collector X after the deal's already been done? We know the deal's already been done because Debt Collector XYZ is calling us. Hey, you remember that $1,000 from Cucumber Hospital?
Yeah.
Candy and gum? Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know XYZ is already on our case about that.
Yes.
Can we one night call up Company X and say, hey, I just ran into some money and I want to pay my bills. And will you take $1,000 to pay that bill off?
The original company.
Yeah. No.
No, the financial company. The one that the collection agency.
The collection agency.
Gotcha.
The original debt collection agency.
Okay.
They sold us and they writ us off.
Okay.
We called them one night and said, we got this $1,000. I want to pay this and have it all fair and square.
Right.
Can they legally take it?
Yes. Yeah. They can take whatever amount of money that you offer them.
Well, then they better be correcting their tax income forms.
Oh, they will. They will.
I doubt that.
They will, but not not any of the original companies or anywhere down the line. It's just them. So they'll end up getting it. Now, here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting version of this situation. I had a hospital bill one time, and we were getting ready to get my mortgage, and I had to pay the fucking bill. And I had just lapsed it. It had just fucking got to that point where the hospital's like, enough is enough, we're selling it. I called the hospital and said, I'd really like to be able to go ahead and pay off this bill, whether or not I make payments or whatever. Oh, well, we already sent it to collections. Which collections? We're not sure yet. There's a pool of collections that we use, and it could be any one of them. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, somebody's going to offer you, they bid on it. Basically, collection agencies bid on the fact, and the highest one wins, usually. So you don't know who the hell it is. Yeah, and then come to find out, if you go ahead and pay the hospital, which I did, they'll take your money. They'll try to negotiate back the collection from the collection agency, which they did in this case. But in other cases, that's not so likely. They might fuck up and not be able to do it. And they took your money. Now, what happens with that cash? See what I'm saying? Are they claiming that, or did they already write it off? What are they doing with it? So, I mean, it's very iffy. The whole thing is very iffy.
It's a whole damn credit thing, man.
Yes. Yeah.
The whole damn credit thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I honestly think that whole situation is just very shitty. And I think it has led to the creation of these jackals. I like to call them jackals because they are fucking hyenas, jackals, whatever you want to call them.
You're talking about debt collectors.
Collection
bill
companies.
Collectors.
Yes, collection companies are like fucking hyenas. Not only do they go for your jugular, but they're over there sucking the dick of all these corporations. I'll give you 400, 450. You know, that's exactly what they're doing, man. And that's at that point you're thinking to yourself, this is the reason why these companies aren't waiting that long. Dude, nobody goes to 90 anymore. Nobody goes to 90 days anymore. They stopped doing that. It's now 60 days. If you fuck up at 60 days, they're going to send it to the collection agency. You have no choice. So what do you do? What do you do? What recourse do you have? I will explain that right now, as a matter of fact. Here is what you do. Never, ever, it doesn't matter what bill it is. If it's a corporation, you can guarantee your bottom fucking dollar that they are going to send that shit in for a negative report. Now, if you paid off your bill, do you think they're going to say, hey, look, he paid off his bill. We love him. Let's just suck his dick. But no, they don't. They say, hey, man, this is some fucked up shit. You pissed us off. Now we're going to go fuck your credit. Okay? Don't let them get to that. Don't let them get to that. No matter what you do, don't let them get to that. The collection agency thing sounds like fun. And it does. It sounds like a lot of fun. Especially if you have like a really vivid imagination like I do when I pick up the phone and I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? No, this is chain resident. What do you want? What do you want? Why you call my house? You call my house like 9 fucking times a day. Why you talk? You know, and that just fucks him up. Or you go, this is the best one. This is the best one ever. Hello, is Mr. Crawford? Is Mr. Crawford there? What? I'm sorry. Is William there? I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. I don't know. You're not talking very loud. Oh, let me turn my thing up. Blow their fucking eardrums, man. Totally fucking kills them. Every time. And then hang up. You don't have to fucking stay on the phone at that point. You know, just fucking with them. Because you know they're turning that shit up. Because I have worked as telemarketing. Not for very long. Because I couldn't stand the nasty little fucking shit that you had to do to be a telemarketer. But I did work as a technical support guy. And I know what it's like for people to call up and be like, you know, you can barely hear them and you have to crank your shit up. And then you're like, what the fuck? Oh, I see. You're talking through your beard. Pick up your fucking phone and put it at your mouth, please. You know. And that's just the thing. Hey, our buddy Jackie, she said banks are federal, which means the government has a finger in that pie. That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jackie's right.
Yes, absolutely. Now, they're not federal, but they are federally insured, which means they do have, a finger in that pie. Of course, they're going to fuck around, because those banks have to pay those FDIC, So
there's a scam we could talk about all night right there, buddy.
Exactly.
That's
federal
right
government.
there.
Yeah, that dude. There's just
it all kind of interloops.
There's this old saying from a book. My, what a tangled web we've weaved. Mm-hmm. When first we practice to deceive. That is exactly, not probably the quote, but that is exactly what has happened in our country. That's exactly what's happened with our government. We have built a nasty web of shit just everywhere. And it's just all over the fucking place.
We've built this huge monster.
Right. And then you get somebody like Donald Trump says, I'm going to come in and fucking clean up. And you know what? He hasn't fucking cleaned up yet. And there's no way he can do it. You cannot pull the essential strings of certain things without killing bunches of people or causing a massive panic or a riot. You know what I mean? And I don't hold that against him. I hold that to highest regard to every person that has attempted that. And nobody's ever been successful. Nobody. Because they're making money out of it somehow, some way. And they don't want people fucking with their shit. Hence the reason why we have lobbyists. But that's a whole nother show.
Man. Yeah, just gonna say.
Whole nother fucking show right there. As a matter of fact, maybe we'll do that one in the next month or so. Anyway, so that's credit, folks. That's exactly what it is. If you want credit, if you're starting, go to the bank that you bank with. If you don't, go to a bank and get your fucking bank. A checking account, not a savings account, a checking account. They get the free one. Doesn't have to be anything expensive. Get the cheap, shitty little checks, which... Dude, how many checks do you write a month? Literally.
None.
Exactly. How many? I don't fucking write any either. So every time I see somebody that's our age in like a grocery store writing a check, I'm thinking... Fucker doesn't get paid till Friday. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I think every single time.
Dude, I think it might be illegal, and I shouldn't really say this, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck them.
We have 2 or 3 bank accounts just for that purpose.
Yeah.
If we get hungry and it's Wednesday,
right,
we ain't getting paid till Friday midnight.
Right.
Oh.
It's called floating a check, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely 100% legal.
Well, it feeds us. And
yes, until the NSF fee drops down. And then the Giant or Wise or fucking Carnes or whatever shows up at your doorstep and says, we're taking you to court for a bad check.
We haven't not gone that far yet.
We have. Actually, we did that. When we were broke, absolutely fucking poor, we wrote checks in order, and we didn't do it viciously. We weren't out there buying a fucking LCD television set with a check. We were buying groceries, okay? And
Dude, why didn't you just check your food stamp balance on your $800 iPhone?
Yeah, exactly. I did not have an iPhone at that time.
Sorry.
As a matter of fact, they weren't even available at that point in time. But I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. But that's the thing, man. Checks are just bullshit, and there's no reason why we even need them anymore.
They need to like them.
They need to. Well, in that case, yes.
I wish the kids would do more.
Yeah.
Kids don't carry cash.
Yeah.
Which I really think... Well, number one, it's very odd they don't carry cash because you hear this generation of, don't spy on me. Don't come in my bedroom.
Right.
Don't spy on me.
Yeah.
Quit spying on me. Well, quit using a card for every fucking thing you buy.
Exactly.
Oh, breadcrumbs.
Just enjoy the breakfast and love everything about it and stop complaining about who are you and why are you in my house. You know?
Look, I even picked a rose from your garden.
Oh, it was your neighbor's garden. Don't worry, they won't say a thing. They're bleeding to death out back behind that rose bush. No, seriously. I mean, I do see it in that regard, but I think there's going to have to be a time soon where we're going to have to lose checking accounts. They're just going to have to go. Dude, they've been around. They're dinosaurs. They're the dinosaurs of the banking industry. Not as dinosauric. That's a great word. Dinosauric as a savings account, per se. Those have been around the longest. But we need something new that is going to be able to do. And here's the thing. You know floating checks, right? Have you ever floated gas?
Every day. Getting ready to do something right now.
Okay, here it comes. Seriously, this is a trick.
What do you mean by floating gas?
This is
I
a
know
trick.
what you mean.
This is a trick that a lot of people don't know about, or they do. If they're poor, they know about this trick, I guarantee you. As long as you have $1 in your checking account, you can go anywhere and get a full tank of gas.
Mm.
The only place that we've run into an issue with that is Sheetz, which is not global, but it's local, and there's a lot of Sheetz, and they're up and down the East Coast. But if you go to the gas station and you put in your credit card, as long as you have $1 for verification that your account has money on it, you can fill up your gas tank. And it won't hit your bank account for a day or two, depending on the gas station. And that's the thing. You need to test that. In order to figure it out, you have to test it. But the great thing is our local place is Rutter's. 2 days.
2 days.
2 days it may go without even showing up on your account. So
what
you could float it on Wednesday and it hits Friday when you get paid.
So what happens whenever it finally does come home to roost and...
Well, it depends. Depends on what kind of checking account you have.
Okay.
If it's...
Is it considered the same thing as insufficient funds?
No. That depends, like I said, on the checking account you have. Some bank accounts, some checking accounts allow you what they call a courtesy fee. Okay, it's not the same thing as an NSF fee, but it's a courtesy fee. Now they did that because of regulations. Okay, now I understand it. And I'm one of these people that's up in the air about regulations. I'm somewhat yes, somewhat no. One of the things the banking regulations did, though, was made them so that they could not give you an NSF fee for a charge that you placed on a credit card that is not a check. Okay? So in other words, if you floated that gas for 2 days...
Sorry about your jeans.
I don't know, but you're going to have to change the fucking seat now. But no, if you floated it for 2 days and you got there, your bank account would not show an NSF fee. It would just show that it paid it if your bank has that kind of coverage. They also have a thing called an overdraft protection fee, which is a thing where overdraft protection, which is basically if you have money in your savings account, it will take it out of there in order to cover your overcharge. But some banks, my bank, which is the only really cool thing about my bank, doesn't give you anything. They just show your account as negative. So if I got $40 in gas and I had $1 in there, it'll show a negative 39. It doesn't show an NSF fee, it doesn't show a courtesy fee or any of that shit. Because, dude, we've been banking with them forever, and we never signed that little waiver thing that they had. They were like, oh, yeah, sign this waiver thing and get your silver account and blah, 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 and this wonderful thing called a courtesy fee. Fuck that. I am not signing up for that shit. The courtesy fee is, hey, you know what? Oh, that was the main thing. The NSF fee cannot be over a certain amount. Okay, your insufficient funds, which I don't know what the N stands for, but okay. Non-sufficient funds, I guess. If you end up getting that, it's only allowed to be, I believe, $37 max. 35 or 37, one of the two, is the maximum that they can charge you, which is ridiculously fucking high if you think about this. Especially, oh God, I can give you a nice little fucking chunk of this one. This one sucks. But real quick, they would give you that, and they had no recourse. They had no way to be able to. So they created this courtesy fee, which they could make pretty much any amount, which ours, I think, is $40. Right. Which is not the same thing as their NSF fee.
You say if you call it something else, if you paint a turd red and add googly eyes.
Right, exactly. It's a service for them. It's a service. We serviced you.
Yeah.
You can come here and service me now. Shit.
For $40, you better be swallowing my service.
Right. So get a load of this. This one time we had a check out, okay? And the check was at our school, and our school is notoriously bad for cashing the checks, okay? So like you'd put a check in for the pretzel fundraiser or whatever the fuck it was, And it was a $35 check, so they have us sitting out there. Well, my wife and I would be out here, and we'd be like, well, we have that $35 in the bank account, but the check hasn't come out. It's been 2.5 weeks. They're still not coming out. We could use that and get gas. Now, this was a long time ago. We could go and get gas or go and get something to eat or blah, blah, blah. So, and then that was a Thursday. Friday, we get paid at midnight. Okay? So, like, basically that night at midnight, you would get paid. Interesting part about this is that not only would you get paid the next morning, but conveniently before you get paid, the check would cash. You would then get a small fee, a service fee for that, and then that would jump up and you would end up having to pay an NSF for that, and the food or gas or whatever else you bought, NSF fee for that. You motherfuckers, man. So we got double charged, and we got paid. This is the fucked up part. An hour later, it shows on the thing. We got paid. Now, of course, this has not lasted forever. Thank God. The bank has put a kibosh on that. They have finished doing that. So it's still possible to get it.
They made their millions.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Time to quit before we get caught up and let's find something else.
We made our millions this Friday. Anyway. So that's it's the most ridiculous thing. Now, usually with that situation, folks, if you go out and you call your bank, don't be afraid, because they're servicing you, not the other way around. Although sometimes they like to think that you're servicing them and not the way they think. There's a good possibility that they will take the charges off. 1 or 2. Sometimes they'll take off 2. We've had it so they've taken off 2. My wife has the ability to cut right through somebody. Just make them feel like shit right up front. Just fucking cut their head off and watch them run around the yard for a little while.
How does she do that?
She basically just says, this is ridiculous. And at that point, they're like, okay, all right, we understand. Let's see what we can do about it. There have been some hard asses and points throughout life where she's done that, and they've just been like, well, you fucked up, not us, But the majority of the time, if you approach them and you say, listen, we've been with you for 15 years. 15 years we've been with you. This fucking shit happens and you're going to do this shit to us? No. You're going to take it off. And they will. They usually will. Because they know it's not right, man. They know it's not right. They knew you were getting paid at midnight. Why process that fucking check at midnight? Oh, I remember what it was. The small fee that came out was something to do with, it was like a $2 fee for taking out a withdrawal. Because we withdrew from an ATM that wasn't our bank. This was a long time ago when they had those policies. It was stuff like that. Little teeny tiny thing. That fucked everything up. It sent everything rolling. The $2 fee came out. Then all of a sudden the $35 check came in and it's like, oh, you only have $33? Oh, shit. And then you went and spent all this money. So, yeah. But usually if you call, and you have to have the bravado. You just have to have the balls to call somebody and just be like, listen, this is not fair. Not fair at all. So I'd like some recourse here, fix this shit. And, they will. And usually I try to be like, when I'm on the phone with somebody, I in that situation, I'm like, I try to be, I understand shit happens, shit happens. I get it, let's fix it though. But then they get to the point where they're like, well, we're not going to be, fuck you, you will. I will reach through this phone and poke you right in the eye. Ow.
Dude, I see what you're saying. First be nice. And with anything in life, I'm wondering maybe, I don't know. I'm getting way on a limb here, but
go for it. I like limbs.
It almost seems like it don't matter if you're a dick. It don't matter if you're nice. You're going to get what you're going to get, whatever they're in the mood to give you.
Right. That's why you got to learn how to butter them up. And I try to teach my wife this. She just doesn't. She doesn't have patience as much as I would like her to. As a matter of fact, she just avoids calling people altogether. She'd rather me do it because we don't want to fuck around with that. We want, And she's like, they're always so much better with you, and they're always so much cooler with you. And it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. My wife and women on the phone. It's just like, oh my God, let's just get out the switchblades and old-fashioned fucking tumble here. I'm going to cut you. that kind of shit. And it's bad. It's really bad. And I mean, I don't hold that against her, but I think at the same time, I've seen her go from 0 to bitch in like 12 seconds. And it's really, really hardcore. And I'm like, you got to stop. You know what I mean? You got to stop. You got to do the right thing here and just, tell them what's going on, but don't get angry with them. There's nothing. I think the thing that she misses is that she feels that they're an extension of the company. And I'm like, that's not the case. She was a telemarketer too. She knows this shit. You know what I mean? You're not an extension of the company. Technically you are, but you're not. You're a human being, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? And yes, you're right, dude. That's the thing. They are dicks when you call sometimes, and there's not really anything you can do to get out of that. But if you call up in a decent manner and seem jovial, it seems like a bad thing. It sucks. It kind of is unfair. Just speak to them in a human tone, in a human voice, and just be human with them. Then they will see your side of things. I promise you, man. I promise you. 9 times out of 10, I can get somebody on the phone like that.
We're dealing with a topic that has no human compassion whatsoever, and credit, which has no human value in it whatsoever. Right, exactly. And you're telling me to act like a human.
Now
have some compassion and empathy. God damn it.
Here is the final thing we definitely need to know about credit, real quick. In order to get credit, you have to show that you don't need credit. It's the dumbest fucking thing, but I have had 3 bankers through my lifetime tell me that exact same thing when I tried to go for a business loan twice, and once when I was just trying to get a loan. Actually, I think it was a mortgage now I think about it. 3 times I've been told this. In order to get credit, you need to seem like you don't need credit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bizarre. That's just a really shitty way of looking at anything. You know what I mean? That's like saying, in order to breathe, you need to act like you don't need to breathe. It's like, okay, well, that's just fucking stupid. In order to die, you need to seem like you are gonna die. I don't know. Yeah, it's twisted all over the damn place. But yes, so that is credit, ladies and germs. That is definitely credit, and there's not much more about it that we can actually speak about when it comes to the history and the world of credit. So we're going to take a little quiz.
Let's take a quiz.
We're going to take a quiz. I'm going to give you a question.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if you can answer it. If you can't, then I'm going to give you the A, B, or C, or, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And let's see what you've learned, not only tonight.
I am going to be good.
Yes, you're going to be doing good at this. All right. Number 1. What are the 3 major credit bureaus in the United States?
TransUnion, Equifax, TransUnion, Equifax, and Transfax. TransUnion, Equifax, and
the other one's another
Urban Development. Ecstasy.
Experian.
Yes,
Experian.
.com.
Yeah, yes, right. Exactly. There you go. That's what you need to kind of know. Just know those 3 things. Which one of those is one that's used most likely by a lot of people and been around the longest?
TransUnion.
Yes, transsexual. Anyway, can checking your own credit report hurt your credit score?
No.
Correct. Can an employer get a copy of your credit report without your permission?
Yes.
No. The answer is no.
I bet he could.
I probably, because they do background checks and shit.
Legally.
Yes.
Okay.
Legally, yes.
My employer get a copy of my credit report legally?
Yes.
Without my...
What things... Here's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Name some things that you need credit for.
A car.
Okay.
A house.
Okay.
The higher echelon call girls.
The ones that take mortgages.
4,000? Yeah. Please, you're screwing me twice.
I've had one of those. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, go ahead. What else?
What did I say? Car, a house, college education.
Yes.
And vacation, and some cars, and...
Did you say, education? Okay, gotcha.
And clocks.
Here's some other interesting ones.
Okay.
A cell phone plan. In order to get a cell phone, you have to have credit.
Yeah, okay. I've had the same cell phone number for 10 damn years, but I'm an unemployed bum bastard.
I know, right? Exactly. But here's the thing. What they look at in that case is, wow, you had a cell phone plan. Did you pay every single bill on time? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Depends. And it really depends on what they say about giving you the credit. I've gotten cell phone plans without a lick of credit. Yeah, with nothing. And usually if you have zero credit, like you are brand new, they will give you a plan. Because they don't know. They don't know. They know that cell phone's important to you, and they'll consider it. Now, they might make you pay a fucking security deposit, which will be nice and big, but still, they give you the credit. Other things like water and electricity, they check your credit for that. It's a soft pull, but they still check your credit. That's the reason why when you have things switched over into your name, when you move into a new place, they have to do your background check and look into who you are. So if you're using UGI, and you've already used UGI before, which is the gas company up in Harrisburg, if you used them before and you've paid all your bills and everything was cool, no worries. You're good to go. But
I have a question. This goes back to the question we did earlier.
Okay.
What if UGI, and this has happened to me.
Okay.
I tell you, this has happened to me with a foot and ankle. I went to a foot and ankle doctor in 1999.
Okay.
And I didn't pay the copay for $40.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
And they failed to bill, or they failed to make you pay it right there.
Well, no, I had to go back to the foot doctor in like 2011 or 2012.
Okay.
12, 13 years later. And they wouldn't see me until I paid the $40 copay. Now, wait a minute. You already done wrote that off on your taxes, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to go back and amend that?
No, they're probably not. And they probably didn't write it off. They probably kept it. It's just,
Well, I don't think they would have to go back and change their tax amendment because it's past a certain amount of days. But
they'll just keep it on the books. It's called riding the books. They'll ride your bill for the rest of time if they have to. They won't sue you for it because it's ridiculous for them to have to do it because it's costly for them to sue you for your credit.
For $40.
Exactly. It's costly. They don't want that. So they'll just ride it and they're hoping that your foot gets fucked up and you got to go back in again. And if you do, guess what?
Sam, go break his ankle.
Damn it, no, I need a foot and ankle doctor. Let's see what else. Yeah, college loans, you were right about that. There's also other little things here and there. And this is one of the big ones that is interesting to me because I don't see what medical bills or what credit card bills has anything to do with this. But if you go to rent a property, they call it majority, 80 something percent, 83% or something like that, do credit checks. And a lot of them, if they're not even companies, will do credit checks. It might just be a mom and pop situation where they're just renting out their basement to somebody, and voila, they're still going to do a credit check. For them, it's easy because there's some kind of program that allows them to do it, less expensively. It's like a soft pull. It's nothing big. But why? Just because I didn't pay my hospital bill doesn't mean I'm not going to want a fucking roof over my head.
Again, I paid my landlord on time.
Yes.
I'm even a month ahead now for the last 2 years.
There you go.
I'm paying a month ahead. And
hopefully he remembers that shit.
Well, my landlord don't report it, and I don't blame him.
Nobody
that would just be an expense for him.
Yeah, costly, which sucks. And that's another one of the processes that needs to change. They need to be able to make it easier for people to say good things about your credit. Not bad, good.
Well,
things. It entices them to add it, is basically what it comes down to.
It gets stupid and silly when I'm applying for a loan and I don't have credit. I want to get a house, but I can't get a house because I don't have credit. And I've been living at the same address for the last 15 years.
Right.
How can you not see that?
You haven't been kicked out, so what the fuck?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the reason why when you try to rent a property, they do two things. They do the credit check, and they also do references. We need to know the last two places you stayed. You give us the address and give us the name and telephone number of your landlord.
Is that motel for an hour count?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something about an intergalactic kegger. Anyway. But yeah, that's the one that always gets me, man. Rental properties. It's like, why the fuck does that have any bearing on the fact that I'm going to... You know what? The number one thing, and this is the main thing I teach my kids, there's one fucking bill you have to pay. If you don't pay it, you're fucked.
What's that?
Your rent.
Oh, yeah.
Your rent. If you don't pay your rent, you don't have a place to live.
Yeah.
That's it. Your car. That'll be the place.
It will eventually collapse on you.
Yes. Yes. And don't get behind. Not on rent. Get behind on water. Get behind on sewer. Get behind on fucking electric if you have to. Technically, 9 times out of 10, if you can show them any medical excuse, they won't shut off your power. They won't do it. I know this for a fact because I have a diabetic daughter and a diabetic son. And at one point when we were really, really super poor, they freaking wanted to turn off our electric. And I couldn't let that happen. And of course, every single person that's ever been on welfare or any person that's in the housing program, the HUD, came right along and said, dude, they can't do that. I'm like, why? Because you have a daughter that has a medical need to have electricity. She has to have her insulin refrigerated. So I told them, I said, look, you can't turn this off. We're going to pay it, but you just can't turn this off. And they said, we just need a note from the doctor. That's it. So we called the doctor. Doctors faxed over the note, and that was it. Boom. We got our power. It still, stayed on. We have had situations where the power went off. We had it turned off. This was before she was actually diagnosed with diabetes. So...
Hey, that reminds me of an interesting utility company story I got for you.
Okay, go for it.
I made a payment agreement with UGI one time, and I went and I made the payment. Like 2-3 days later, they came and turned me off. And it was like I called them up. What in the hell?
Right.
Why'd you guys turn me off? Oh, I see here, sir, that you did make the payment agreement like you were supposed to. Yes. Now come out tonight and turn this back on.
Right.
I'm afraid we can't just do that. Well, yes, you can. I'm having surgery tomorrow, which means it's Friday, so your guy won't be available to come in until Monday.
Right.
I don't think I can go 3 days without service.
Right.
He was there that night.
Cool.
Yeah, but...
Did they charge you a fee? Did they charge you a turning back on fee?
No.
Sometimes the fucking assholes will do that kind of shit. They will go and charge you a fee. Even though it wasn't your fault, you had everything set up, they still charge you a fee. And that's not right. That's not right. They turned it off. It was error in their in their court. It takes a guy 2 seconds to climb the pole. Well, it takes a little longer than that. And he must be that kind of guy. But he's going to climb the pole and he's going to and you're back on. And it's it. It's no big deal for them. Yeah. Another interesting thing, and I do want to sort of leave off credit with this. There was, for the longest time, people used to tell you, we'll get back to the quiz here in a second. They used to tell you that if you were to get behind on something, and it doesn't matter what it is, no matter what it is, that as long as you made a payment, okay, they could not fuck your credit. Okay. Now, it used to be like that, but is no longer like that. Now they have a thing called the minimum payment due, which means you have to do this. Now, there is a way around this, and this is an interesting tidbit of information for everybody that has ever had a problem with this, and here's how you do it. What you do is you call the company and you tell them, I need to suspend my account. Don't close it, just suspend it. You're eventually going to close it, because if you don't, you're a dumbass. Because you already fucked up and couldn't pay it to begin with, so, But the fact of the matter is, they can then accept a payment arrangement. And you make that with them. You say, listen, I've fallen on hard times. I can only pay $10 a month towards this bill, but please suspend my account. And they will do it. 9 times out of 10, they will do it. And that's, the ones that are on the up and up. But if you get one from Credit First, you can expect they're not going to fucking do jack shit for you. Credit First is a really shitty one. They're like the really, really, they look like Capital One when they send you their fake credit cards. As a matter of fact, I had one of those down here somewhere. I was going to make pics out of it. Anyway, let's go back to this quiz real quick.
Okay.
How long can a bankruptcy stay on your credit report?
7, forever.
It can technically, yes. But how long does it affect you on your credit report?
I'm going to say 7 years.
It used to be 7 years. believe it or not, over the past, presidential administration, that has actually changed. It's now down to 2 years. Remember I told you when I said a couple of the things in my credit report, look back the last 2 years? Mm-hmm. That's exactly what that is. They only usually look back the last 2 years of your credit report. So the majority of that stuff, if you had a bankruptcy 2 years out, you should be ready and raring to go. And it depends on what kind of bankruptcy.
I would never file bankruptcy.
Well, that's the thing. Our President George Bush, it's going to be a fine and wonderful thing. Everybody's going to love it. We're all going to have a good fucking time with it right over here, okay? We're going to go ahead and make it so that when you file bankruptcy, if you're a person, you're going to have to not be able to get everything just off your credit report, okay? So what we're going to make you do is we're going to make you come in there and you're going to go into court and you're going to waste a whole lot of fucking time. And then when you're done wasting your time, you're only going to have a bunch of payment arrangements and you're still going to have to pay the fucking bill.
Nah.
Right. That's what happened with bankruptcy. It changed. And Chapter 11, Chapter 13, Chapter 9, Chapter 7. God damn it. I wish I read that book. All those different types of bankruptcies all changed. The only one that gets it now, the only one that gets to stroke their own dick is a business. If you're going to have a business, you can do whatever you want with it. Go ahead, yeah. You can lose out. Chapter 13, lose every fucking thing you own, not have to worry about paying back a dime to any of your creditors.
Well, dude, that was already in place before George Bush got there.
Well,
in one fact,
enforcement,
and you could hide behind. You could put your bills and everything in a business and hide behind the corporate veil.
Yes, you could put your house, you could put your car, you could put everything. And that sort of changed.
So that was before Bush.
It has to show, you have to show a substantial amount of time with it. You can still do it. You have to show a substantial amount of time with it being there. In other words, if I have it has to be a corporation. It can't be an LLC. Corporation. If I have a corporation S, then I can go ahead and make my house part of the corporation. Oh, well, I do all my work in my house, so guess what? Here it is. You know what I mean? The house is part of the corporation. This is the headquarters. You see what I'm saying? And you have to have done that for a substantial amount of time. I don't know how long. I believe it's like over 2-3 years, somewhere in there. And then you can hide that behind the veil if you want. But yeah, you can't do that like a week before you go to fucking court. Yes, sir, my house is behind the veil. How long ago did you put it there? A week ago. How far would you like this dick in your ass? Yes.
How big is the dick?
Okay, so let's see what else here.
Yes.
Credit repair companies. Oh, we didn't talk about that. We should have talked about that. Credit repair companies. There are several types of those. I will tell you now what they are. The credit repair companies can do one of a couple different things. One is the one I have been trying to get you to go to and talk to this woman who will sit down and diligently figure out your shit for $200, get you a secured credit card, and get your credit boosted. And basically, she's on the up and up. Those are the ones that are on the up and up. But here's the main reason why they're on the up and up is because they want your business. They want you to get a mortgage or a loan through their company or a company they deal with.
Who are you talking about?
Town Bank, which is down in North Carolina. The woman that we worked with, dude, we were told, dude, you won't get a house for another 6 months. Like 3 months later, we were getting a house. That's how fast it was. It was that quick. Our credit jumped like 150 points. I shit you not. In no time flat. It was very, very high. I remember that. We were like, wow, holy fuck. You know?
Did you pay her something to do this?
$200.
Okay.
And we were told we would get the $200 back at the mortgage signing. We would get it in the form of something. I don't remember what it was. Maybe a gift card, I think. But we never received it. So we were just kind of like, you know what? We just got a $200,000 house. Don't worry about your $200 fucking dollars. Shove that shit straight up your ass. And then we got $1,000 back too at closing, which was interesting. But yeah, that's the main thing. That's the one kind of credit repair company that is on the up and up. Now, if you hear one on the radio, we can straighten out your credit. stop in and we'll talk to all those mean, nasty fucking collection agencies and companies you owe money to, and we'll take care of those for you. Now,
I already know the scoop with those guys.
Yes. You know what they do. They go in, they negotiate with those collectors or credit card companies to write off the amount of money and pay a whole substantial amount less. It's the same thing as the IRS, man. I'm sure you've seen the commercials for the IRS people. Yes. Are you an IRS, do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Yes. Why is it $10,000? Because anything less than $10,000 really isn't worth it. Well, see, that's a 25-cent pack of gum to them.
Right. It's jack shit. Right. Yeah. Exactly. They want to make some money out of it.
So what they are, they're just renegotiating with the IRS how much they owe. They add their fee on top of it to you.
Right.
So
right. Well, no, they sell it out just like they do at a corporation. That's what a lot of people don't realize is the IRS runs pretty much like a company. So you can end up getting that money down and then writing it off, which is interesting because they're the ones that have to be writing it off to themselves. We're going to send this bill to the IRS. Wait a minute, we are the IRS. I don't give a fuck. Let's just do it anyway. So that's what they do. They negotiate the price down, and you end up paying. True story. Business I still own, with a business partner. We got a tax bill one year because we failed to file one piece of paper. We got a $3,900 tax bill. Now, here's the interesting, fucked up, really interesting part about this. We made $0. We paid $0. We owed fucking nothing and got a $3,900 tax bill. Interesting fact, folks, if you don't know what to do at that point, and I know your heart's going to sink and your stomach's going to drop and you're going to have to take a really bad shit all of a sudden, because that's what I had to do. The one thing you need to do instantly, especially when it comes to something with the IRS or the federal government and you feel it's wrong, contact your senator. It doesn't matter that you're not really going to be talking to the senator. You're just going to be talking to some aide. It doesn't even have to be the federal senator, U.S. government senator. It could just be your state senator. It could be your state representative. It could be anybody that can take it up that level, because all they do is go and talk to the IRS and say, listen, this account here, this is screwed up. They did no business whatsoever. And you guys charge them $3,900. How could you even do that? I would understand if they fucked up and didn't, report some kind of income, but that wasn't the case. And dude, they took it to zero. Huh. Yeah, we got it taken off. I was relieved. Oh my God, the stress through that whole week and a half was just like, oh shit. You know what I mean? He got in touch with my business partner as a Democrat. He got in touch with the Democratic Bob Casey. I got in touch with Pat Toomey. Boom, voila. I don't know who the fuck cleaned it up, so I can't point fingers. Toomey, you suck, or anything like that. I don't know who, but yeah, that's interesting. Interesting thing about the IRS. Anyway, so credit repair companies, you will hear them on the radio. Some of them will come on and be like, are you having problems with your credit cards? Let us get it straightened out for you. Okay. The one thing you can do in order to straighten out your credit, just real quick, is a loan. Let's say you have $20,000 in credit debt. Okay. You've been making your minimum payments, and everything is going slow. And if you continue paying it, you'll be 193 years old by the time you finish paying it off. So you have $20,000 in credit card debt. You go to the bank and you say, hey, I got great credit. I'd really like to pay off these credit cards. Let me get a loan. The bank, unless it's my bank, will say, okay, sure, let's do that. This is called a debt consolidation loan. It's basically a loan where they say, okay, here's what bills you have. You bring in the list of all your credit card bills, show them bills, the actual physical bills or printouts or whatever. And they tally up everything and they realize this is how much money you're going to need. And if you're worthy enough, credit worthy enough, or dick sucking worthy enough, they will go ahead and write that check for you and give you a loan. And of course, every fucking irresponsible asshole in the world is going to take that check and go have a steak. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Instantly. It's just like, fuck.
Man, I got $20,000 here. I'm eating good tonight.
I had this car accident and I got $1,600 to pay for it and I'm eating steak. You know what I mean? That one of those kinds of situations where you're like, I fucked up my car. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to write you a check for this amount. all right, I could drive with a dent. It's basically what it comes down to. But no, they will write you this check, and you, of course, should, as a responsible person, go and pay your bills. Now, some banks will require that you show that you paid off these loans, but they don't necessarily do that. They might have a stipulation that says, if we give you this, you've got to go and do that, which, is fine because you should be the responsible party. This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to clear your credit debt. Why would you want a debt consolidation loan? Okay. Well, I'll tell you why. The majority of my credit cards, as mentioned before, are 24.99% APR to 29.99% APR, which is really high. The reason why they're high is because when I got them, the reason why Dan's high is because he got that.
So am I, man. So am I.
The reason why they're so high is because when I got them, my credit wasn't beautiful. It was like 750 or something. So they were like, oh, well, we don't know about you, man, so we're going to take a chance. And yeah, they took a chance and everything's been great, but they haven't given me any more money, bastards. Anyway, right? I know, fuckheads. I guess something about not having a job kind of, Anyway, so yeah, that doesn't help. When I put my income, I'm like 240 million. Like, ooh, maybe we should give him an increase, No. But yeah, so you go and you pay off your bills, okay? And now you don't have this APR of 24 to 29.99%. Now you have this loan percentage of 7.5%. You see where I'm going with this? Your interest rate just dropped. It fucking plummeted, man. Plummeted.
Free fall.
You have saved because that interest rate that you're paying, man, that's 25% of the amount of money you owe. For every $1,000 in credit that you have, that's $250 a year that you are paying back and not applying to the principal. The principal being the amount of money that you borrowed, the $1,000. See what I'm saying? It doesn't go towards that. It goes toward the interest. The minimum payment that you pay is pretty much all interest, believe it or not.
Yes.
That's the reason why it takes so long to pay off bills. So getting a debt consolidation loan is beautiful because then you can go and do that. But there's a caveat. The caveat is a small fish egg that you can put on crackers.
That's
no, I'm just kidding.
caviar.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
That's caviar.
No, no. The caveat is that if you take out a debt consolidation loan, your credit score will take a hit. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not exactly sure. Probably because it's showing that you're irresponsible.
Right. 8 pounds.
Yes, exactly. So now you have become a little bit irresponsible and you're that turd with red and pretty lips and googly eyes. So basically, getting a debt consolidation loan is cool in one regard because you get to pay off all those bills. And I highly suggest it. I have not done it yet. I haven't even attempted. I'm considering it. But I would highly suggest it if you're in a crushing situation. If you're mind-boggling numbers that you're paying out per month and you're getting fucking nowhere with anything, then I would suggest that. And finally, here's a tip of my penis. The tip is this. If you pay more than your monthly minimum balance due, your credit will go up. That is a promise. Now you have to do that with every credit card or thing that you own or that you have to pay back.
Even if it's only $1 or $2?
Even if it's only $1 or $2. Now, it's exponential to the amount of money you apply to each bill. Okay, so if you apply the $1, you're only going to see a small marginal increase in your credit score. But if you pay $5 to $10 more per month per bill, which a lot of people can, seriously focus on and do that, then your credit score will jump probably about 60 points. Yeah. And then you will be credit worthy. Oh, and not only that additional money that you're applying usually doesn't go to the interest. It goes to the principal. So now you're paying off your credit cards at a faster rate, which means you have less to pay on later on. See what I'm saying? It gets smaller and smaller. So it really behooves you to go out and pay that little bit of extra that you can for the card or cards in my case to show them that you have that you're credit worthy. And that's one thing that millionaires and hundredaires have known for a long time. I'm a thousandaire at the moment. No, not even that shit.
I'm a $1
I spent it all. I'm negative as we speak. I'm negative thousandaire. So anyway, that's that. Okay, a couple more things real quick. So that's credit repair companies are the ones that you have to be careful with. The ones that are on the radio all the time are the ones you got to be the most careful with, because all they want to do is buy out your credit, which is going to fuck you in the long run. They fuck you at the drive-thru. So you have to worry about that. So like I said before, there are credit repair companies like the one we worked with that just want your business. There are ones that just want your business because they would just want your money. And then there's the nonprofits that I talked about earlier too. They're not a lot, but they're there. And I promise you can find them. You could probably look them up in the phone book. Just make sure that word nonprofit appears in the mission statement or their website or whatever. Just make sure the nonprofit, not for profit, okay? Because that doesn't mean shit. Because they can show on paper, hey, we weren't making a profit because I paid my CEO $14.6 million. You know what I mean? Not a profit if he's making his salary. So, let me ask you this. When is a consumer entitled to receive a free statutory credit file disclosure from a credit reporting company?
Every time his credit score has been pulled.
Correct. But you have to ask them at that point. If you want one, it used to be if you want one just for shits and giggles, you could only get one a year. They changed that back in, the black president. So now you can get it as a soft pull, which it happened right around the end of George Bush's. So I probably have to give him the credit. You should give me the credit. Okay. Okay. Here's the really, really interesting one. And this is the one I need you to know. And everybody should know. When you get married, your credit report merges with your spouse's or stays independent?
Stays independent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to show that you are you. There is no such thing as joint.
Oh, yes, there is.
There's such a thing as a joint. I think you're fucking with me, money. Yeah. So yes, there's no such thing as joint credit report. So it's like you just individually, and you can go in. My wife and I have several accounts that we have open that are both of us on the account simultaneously, and it had to be that way. I mean, it didn't have to, but they asked. They were like, yeah, we're going to give you $300 credit unless there's somebody else you can add to the account, like your significant other. I'm like, okay, cool. So I added my significant other. Okay, we're going to give you $5,000 now. And, fuck! For a while there, it was great because my wife and I were going neck and neck at trying to, like, who's got the better credit score? Who's going to get better shit? Who's going to get a better credit card? She beat me when she got a fucking 5,000 something fucking dollar fucking Discover card. Pissed me off. Anyway, yeah, she kicked my ass. She's still kicking my ass, but she's much, much better at finances than I am, even though I know all this fucking trivial shit. Anyway, so, sir, that is credit.
That is credit.
That is credit. What else do we have to talk about?
Do you want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
You want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
All right, we'll play a game here.
Would you like to play a game?
This game is simple.
Okay.
We've been talking about credit all night, and there's really no such songs in country music or rock music that say, I went down to the bank and applied for a loan. So I just had to use songs about money,
Okay.
which is what credit is. Credit is fake money.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I play a song about money. You give me the name of the artist and the name of the song.
The name of the artist and the song. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
and
try
it's
it.
got something to do with money in it.
Okay.
That's the clue. It's something to do with money.
Well, right away I'm thinking boom, 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 boom. It's like the quintessential song about money. The song about money.
And I am going to say this. I hate technology.
Oh, no, so do I.
I really do
So
hate technology.
Lately, it's been pissing me off.
Why am I not? Why can you not hear me, dude?
Oh, that would be my fault.
See? I hate technology.
Okay.
bills I have to pay. Ain't it sad? And still there never seems to be a single penny left for me. That's too bad.
Oh, wow.
In my dreams, I have a plan.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Any idea? Wealthy man wouldn't have to
I
work.
can't tell with you singing.
Oh, sorry.
Jackie came on and said ABBA.
How the hell does she know? She's right.
She's right. She
know the name of the song?
Is right. Name of the song?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's find out. You can chat with us if you go to Spreaker.com, by the way, and visit our account, and then visit our chat area. You can chat with us.
That was ABBA, and it was money, money, money.
Money, money. Oh, you didn't give her a chance to freaking respond, man.
Well, she's going to have to hurry up.
Yes. Sorry, Jackie. You're going to have to hurry up.
Okay. Here's the next one. Are you ready?
She said she was lost there, by the way. Anyway, yes. Money, 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 money. Money. Huh.
Any clues?
I don't. I know the name of the song is Money, Money, Money.
Well, it's actually For the Love of Money.
Oh, for the... Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah. One of those dumb little things.
Yeah.
They say money, 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 but, you know, anyway.
I would have to say the Pointer Sisters. I don't know.
a trio called the OJs.
Oh, the OJs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, wasn't that a male band? Yeah, it was a male band. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
You just had some background singers.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call them, blackground singers. Yeah. Remember that song? I don't remember who did it. And the color girl go do. I'm like, dude, seriously? He just said fucking colored girls. That's just not cool, you know? It's like, man, it's that stuff in history where it's kind of like, it was acceptable to say that kind of stuff at one point in time. And even black folk didn't care.
Yeah.
Speaking of black girls.
Moon la la. Yeah.
Oh.
Bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have my money.
Tell me well enough. Bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have her money. I'll give you a hint. She looks a lot like Lisa Bonet.
Rihanna.
Yes.
All right.
Did I give it away? You think she looks like
yeah, Lisa Bonet. Yeah, definitely. It was funny because the Winnie the Pooh version of that is "Bitch better have my honey." Yeah, let's go. Keep going. Oh, money talk. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is the right song or not.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you like this song, Jeff?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I miss AC/DC.
You are correct.
Yes. Money talks.
Okay.
Bullshit walks. That's what they were trying to say in that song, by the way. I am TV. Which is funny because this is like the only song that sounds like this. Do you ever notice that?
Yes.
You look at Sultans of Swing,
Yes.
it doesn't sound anything like this. This was like their 1980s fucking...
Hard rock crunchy. That's like the only hard rock crunchy song they had.
Yeah, well, no.
I mean, they made good music, and I like them in the song.
But this is just keyboard laden. You know what I mean? Too many keyboards. It was the 1980s, and they just wanted to fit in, and that... Basically, this became a huge hit on MTV, which is no longer music television. It's now just, let's go and fucking make whatever television.
You had not said the name of the group or the song yet.
Money for Nothing and Checks for Free. No, Money for Nothing. And it is Dire Straits.
Dire Straits.
Yes.
Money for nothing and my dicks for free.
I got dicks for free. Oh, okay. Lovely.
Here we go. We got
She's
3.
dumber than a box of dicks. Anyway, what? That's one of my favorite sayings in the world.
You got 12 damn heads in there.
No. Is there an owl in here somewhere? What the fuck?
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. Two young lovers with nothing better to do.
You like this song, Jeff?
Oh, I love Steve Miller.
Me too.
Sitting around getting high watching tube. Fuck yeah.
Cut loose.
This is my favorite part coming up.
Down to old El Paso. I swear they ran into a great big
Asshole.
Billy Joe shot a man while robbing his castle. Bobby Sue took the money and run.
I still to this day don't know if that's a lesbian couple or not.
Bobby, yeah, that's really, yeah. No,
So,
you
just
think it's
saying,
fucking weird.
Steve
Yeah.
Miller. Maybe you should.
Go on,
So-
take the money and run. And it's Steve Miller, yeah. You just gave me that.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Miller band. But I knew who it was. I like Steve Miller.
That
I
was
said
our
that
last
earlier.
One. That was our last one.
Yeah, I said Steve Miller.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
That's our game, buddy.
That's our game.
Yeah.
That is our
You
game.
did very, very well. You hit them
Yes.
all. You hit them all.
Yes. Uh-oh. For some reason, I opened that shit up. Hey, Siri, that's a Dean. I hate you, phone. You suck. Siri's the shittiest thing on the planet, dude, by the way. No matter how much you try to... Hey, hang on here. Watch this. Watch this. Hey, Siri, what did I tell you to call me?
You're W, but you asked me to call you Dark McStuffins.
Dark McStuffins. That's right, yes, because it's a little kid thing. Instead of Doc McStuffins. I know, it's really fucked up. Yes, yeah. So, definitely, what else we have on the agenda?
Oh well, we could do the top 10 most important things in life.
Okay, what else do we have?
That's it.
Oh, really?
I
Damn. I mean, that's you know what? I don't even know if I have the list anymore. Hang on, let me take a look here. No. Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, would you listen to that?
Damn.
Would you listen to that?
Yeah. Can you smell that?
Yep. And there's those tones that indicate to us in our credit reports that the promissory note of time is now due, and you all know what that means. Before we cash out, though, we want to give credit to Randolph and Mortimer, our producers. Thanks, both of you. You do a great job week in, week out. Well, folks, before we go, feel free to contact us here at the show by email, of course. Our address is jeffanddan@jeffanddan.com. We love reading your emails and your regular mail and peeking in you into shower.
Ooh.
Join us next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, jeffanddan.com. Until then, ladies and germs, have a good night and a great week.